Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, The Scent Obsessed Mom. My name is Lauren. If you're new here, welcome. And if you enjoy all things affordable women's fragrance like I do, please consider subscribing. I am a brand new channel, so I really appreciate all of your support. Today, I'm going to be doing a little mini haul from Oakcha. I just got these in the other day. I have 3 fragrances that I specifically chose for myself. These are just going to be like first impressions because I have not had a chance to wear each of these on their own for any extended period of time. So I'll have to come back later to do more dedicated reviews to each one. But I'm just going to give you my overall first impressions. If you're not familiar with Oakcha, they're one of my favorite dupe houses. They have a wide selection of men's and women's fragrances, plenty of unisex fragrances. They offer samples as well, which is really nice. So I actually got these 3 perfumes plus a free mystery fragrance, which I'll show you in a second, and a free mystery sample box as part of the sale, which was awesome. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on the free items, but I'll just kind of briefly show you before we get into the main fragrances that I ordered. So the freebie that I got, and I kept this one in the box so you can kind of see the packaging. I think it's really nice. There's magnetic closure on the box. Got kind of a velvet lining here that they nestle the bottle down into. I love the gold lettering. They've got some instructions or tips here. It comes with a little card, which I do not have in the box anymore. But this one is called Gypsy Beats. If you are a fan of the Louis Vuitton fragrance Afternoon Swim, now I have never tried that fragrance. This is a dupe for that. So if you are a fan of that fragrance, I would definitely say go check this out. If they have a sample for it, try it out. This is a unisex fragrance from Oakcha. Now, the only reason that I've decided not to keep this one is because it was just a little bit too orangey and citrusy for my taste. I will, however, say that it was a very pleasant fragrance. I felt that it smelled well blended. The citrus was not screechy. It doesn't like smack you in the face or anything like that. But for me personally to wear, it was just a little bit too much of a prominent orangey and citrusy type note. But like I said, if you're a fan of the original Afternoon Swim, or if you like orange and citrus fragrances, I would definitely go and check this one out. And the free samples that I got, which I said they have samples for I think pretty much all of their fragrances, or at least their main collections. And this is the Oud collection, which is kind of funny because I am not really an Oud fan. But if you are, go check this out. I did sample each of them, and I will say there were multiple in there that I at least smelled it and was like, you know what, I may not wear this personally because of the Oud. However, there was a variety of unique blends in here, and this is an original Oakcha collection. These are not dupes. They're all unisex, and I can honestly say that there are multiple in there that I was like, this is nice. This is pleasant. I can see someone who enjoys Oud finding at least a couple fragrances in here that they're going to enjoy. So you get 6 different samples, I believe, in all of their sample boxes, little sample vials. It's a great way to try out multiple fragrances before you buy the full-size thing. So they do have an Oud collection, just FYI, even though that's not, my scent preference. I did also want to briefly show you the 2 fragrances that I already had in my collection from them. I actually have owned more than this, but I've gone through some major declutters where I've gotten rid of fragrances, not necessarily because they weren't good fragrances, but just because I was not reaching for them as much. And my goal has been to really just gradually get it down to my absolute loves. So these are the 2 that I currently, before this order, had in my collection. There's Sweet Addict, which is their dupe for Killian's Love Don't Be Shy, and then Silent Melody, which is their dupe for Burberry Goddess. Both awesome dupes, guys. So check those out if you are a fan of those 2 fragrances. I'll have to come back to those later and talk about those in more depth in a different video. But for today's mini haul, here are the 3 fragrances that I chose for myself. We'll start with this one right here, which is called, I believe it's Kalin or Callan. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but this is their dupe for MFK's Gentle Fluidity Gold. This is one that I have not tried the original fragrance, but I've heard this is supposed to be a good dupe. Regardless, I can tell you that I am a big fan. Now, again, this is just initial impressions, but I have sampled it multiple times. I think this is gorgeous. It's unisex, and I think it's pretty perfectly unisex. Like, I don't feel like it leans feminine or masculine. I think this is something that would smell great on either gender. And it's perfect for this time of year in the fall. For notes, this one has a top of vanilla and musk, mid coriander seeds, juniper berries, and nutmeg, and the base is gourmand vanilla, amber, and woody notes. And Oakcha also gives highlight notes, which is kind of interesting. So for the highlight notes, they have vanilla, amber, and musk. I think this is just so, it's soft, it's smooth, it's warm. Like I said, just the perfect cozy scent for fall. And you can definitely, I just feel like everything is so well blended. And I say that about a lot of these fragrances because it's true. I don't feel like there's any notes that are screechy. There's nothing that just smacks you in the face, even when you first spray it. So this is perfect for if you are a vanilla lover. Um, it says there's gourmand vanilla in here, but I would say that it's not overly gourmand. It's not overly sweet or cloying at all. So you really don't have to worry about that. If you're like me and you've gotten more into your, I mean, I would call it a slightly more mature vanilla. And what I mean by that is just not overly sweet, not overly gourmand. Obviously, any age can wear this, but I do feel like it's just got those little hints of like woodiness and spice, but not overly so. It's still smooth, still soft and well blended. But there's a little more to it than just your regular run of the mill vanilla, if that makes sense. So I highly recommend trying out this one. Again, that's Kalen or Callan, whichever one it is, but they're dupe for MFK's Gentle Fluidity Gold. In the middle, we have Moonlit, which is Oakcha's dupe for Versace Crystal Noir. This is one that I did used to own in my collection and decluttered. I originally had the EDP and then got rid of that one and then sampled the EDT. While I liked them and they were definitely unique, I did not have anything else in my collection just like those scents. There was something in each of them that just was not working for me. No matter how much I wanted it to, no matter how many times I tried to wear it and love it, there was just something in each of those that was like too much almost. And it is already a little bit more of a mature scent. Now, I'm not saying like it smells like old lady, but it's just mature. So being as, you know, I have tried multiple dupes that I ended up liking better than the original, both from Oakcha and other houses. I'm like, you know what? Why don't I try this one? It's got good reviews. And I can report after, you know, just a few testing it and just first impressions. I'll have to wear it, you know, obviously for a longer length of time by itself to be sure. But just on first impressions, I do like this one better than the original. So I'll go ahead and give the notes. The top is pepper, ginger, and cardamom. I love those spicy notes in there. Mid, coconut, gardenia, orange blossom, and peony. In the base, sandalwood, musk, and amber. And for highlight notes, they have gardenia, coconut, orange blossom, and sandalwood. So I'm not sure in the original fragrance if it was that gardenia note that was a little bit too strong and screechy for me. I think it may have been, but this one just seems overall more well blended, more smooth, a little bit more toned down from the original. So I would say if you like Versace Crystal Noir, but it was a little too much for you, maybe a little too strong, maybe that gardenia note was a little too much for you, I would highly recommend at least trying this one out. Because like I said, so far I like this one better. And that's really what I was hoping for, is that same Crystal Noir type DNA, but a little more toned down. And that's so far what I'm getting from this one. So again, that's Moonlit, which is their dupe for Versace Crystal Noir. And then the final one here in the white bottle is called Plus One. This one is a dupe for Juliet Has a Guns, Not a Perfume. That is one that I believe I sampled, but it was quite a while ago, so it was kind of hard for me to remember it well enough to tell you if this is like how close of a dupe this is. But I can tell you that just as a scent in itself, I really enjoy it. And I'll explain why in a second. So the top notes for this one are vanilla and musk. I'm sorry, guys, I'm on the wrong one. This is kind of interesting because they have top ambergris, mid ambergris, and then base amber, ambergris, and ambroxan. That is a whole lot of amber, guys. So I'm assuming what they have on their website is accurate. Just kind of interesting. But the highlight notes, they have amber, musk, and ambergris. So all I can tell you is that, again, I've tested this one multiple times. Just like the original, the Not a Perfume, it's called that, obviously, because it's one of those scents that's not meant to smell like you're wearing a perfume. It's like a Your Skin But Better or Second Skin type scent. And that's definitely what this is. It is unisex. And I'm sorry, going back to Moonlit, I don't know if I mentioned that this one, just like the original Crystal Noir, is marketed as a women's fragrance. The other two I'm showing you again are unisex. And I do agree that this is that type of scent that really could work for either gender. It's when, for me personally, this is something I would wear really anytime, but especially if I'm just having kind of a casual low-key day. I'm just going to be bumming around home. I'm going to be running errands. I don't want anything that's going to stand out too much, just something soft and pleasant. And to me, that's what this is. It's that Your Skin But Better type scent. It's in the same family as, I don't know if you're familiar with Skin by Clean Collective, or they have a classic version and a reserve collection. I actually have the reserve Skin in, I think, a travel size, but I really like that one. And it's not exactly the same, but it's similar. So the amber isn't like really strong. It's just a really pretty skin musk, but slightly sweet type scent. So I really would have a hard time imagining anyone disliking this, or at least strongly disliking it, or it's definitely not going to offend anyone. So if you're somebody that doesn't like the really perfumey smells, you're looking for something a little more toned down, I would recommend this one for sure. So again, +1, which is a dupe for Juliet Has a Guns, Not a Perfume. All right, guys, so there is my little Oakcha mini haul. They do have a 20% off site-wide sale going right now, plus they just released 2 new perfumes. I'm going to leave a link in the description. You can go and check it out. I don't know if you can use the 10% off in addition to the sale, but at the very least, if you get on right now, go take advantage of that 20% off. If you decide to hold off and you want to look later, you can definitely use the 10% off. I'll have to look into exactly how that works as far as when sales are going on. But definitely, in my opinion, overall, a great dupe house. Tons of fragrances to pick from for both men, women, unisex. Again, this video is not sponsored by them. I just have my link that you can go and get your 10% off if you are interested. So go check them out, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.